What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Good Morning Tottenham, and it is a very good morning. The sun is shining, the weather is sweet. Spurs are on the back of a victory, Arsenal on the back of a loss last night, and what more is there to smile about? Oh, we've got David the Irish Hotspur with us as well on St. Patrick's Day, so welcome to David.
St. Paddy's special.
It's a St. Paddy's special today. We got David on the mic. How you doing, Dave?
Absolutely buzzing to be here. Look, thanks for having me, and happy Paddy's Day to everybody else out there. Hope you have a good day. And look, great win yesterday, and hopefully we can roll on to West Ham now and do the same, boys.
Exactly. So obviously you're at the game last night. All three of us were at the game together. It was such a kind of an easy job last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, I thought it was easy enough. First half, we had a couple of chances. Took one of them. Second half, to be fair to Brighton, though, they did come out. Had a couple of opportunities there early the second half. But to be fair, from that, we got the second goal. Then and it was easy.
Yeah.
Easy then from then on.
Felt the same, Tim?
Yeah, I didn't think they troubled us too much. I can't remember too many times Lloris was called into action. I can't remember.
Well, not once. He didn't make a save yesterday.
Well, they didn't have a shot on target. So that shows it. I think they pretty much had one chance throughout the game through Cucurella. I mean, other than that, I think we were just doing our defensive duties correctly. I think the defenders had a top game. They were rock solid. I think Romero, Dyer, Davis, all three of them were really, really strong. And Brighton had no answer. They couldn't get through. And I think they tried their best, but they were just too flat going forward. There's something going wrong there in their attacking department, because I think it's got one goal in the last 6 games. For a team that likes to play attacking football, that's nowhere near good enough. So something's definitely gone wrong. Maybe it's a bit similar to Spurs in a way, but to a lesser extent, because they're so reliant on like Maupay and Trossard, aren't they, to get goals. And if they're not getting goals, it's very hard to see where the goals come from for Brighton, isn't it? And at the moment, they're going for a bad patch.
Yeah,
and then
6 losses in a row.
And at the moment, it's like if Maupay and Trossard are your best players going through a bad patch, then you're really in trouble in the attacking point of view.
Absolutely. Just before, we'll delve deeper into the match reaction in a bit. But the way we're going to structure this, we're going to go into Antonio Conte's press conference and hear every word he said on the game last night, then go to a match reaction, then see how Twitter reacted to the game last night, and then we're going to get you guys on to have your say. So link should be in the community section right now if you want to have your say. So just click that link and come on and join us for a chat. But without further ado, let's get into Antonio Conte's press conference.
Congratulations on the win. What do you think of that performance tonight?
I think a good performance. I think that the team is having a good performance. In the last period, I'm seeing great improvement, and I said, before this game that in the last 5 games we scored a lot of goals, 5 goals against Everton, Leeds away, 3 goals against the City, 2 goals against United, 2 goals here, and we created many chances now also to improve the final result. It means that we are improving, and we are trying to go in another step, and to try to be very close at the top of the table. It's right to have ambition, and I put ambition to my players, because it's important to have a target, a difficult target for sure, because to reach the 4th place is not simple. It will be very difficult, but at the same time I know that in this moment we are ready to fight in every game. Then sometimes can happen that you can lose the game against United, that honestly we didn't deserve to lose the game, but we are showing great improvement, and this is good. This is good for the present and also for the future. On Sunday we'll have a crucial game against West Ham. They have the same target, and we are talking about a team that in the last season arrived before than us. They're playing UEFA League, and To get 3 points on Sunday will be very important to continue to have an hope, no? To reach the fourth place.
How important did you think Cristiano Romero was tonight, both with and without the ball?
But Cristiano Romero is a good player. Is a good player, and he has to be focused in every moment of the game, because if he's focused in every moment of the game, with the ball, without the ball, he's a really good player with a lot of space for improvement. And he played a really good game, like the other teammates. For sure, we are talking about a young player with a lot of space for improvement, and he has to have the desire, the will to continue to improve, and to ask to himself much more, because he has the possibility to become a top defender, but it depends of him and of the manager to help him with sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way, but the most important thing that he has to improve.
Hi, Antonio. Can I ask you about another one of your players, Rodrigo Bentancur? What did you think of his performance tonight, and do you feel he seems to be adapting quite quickly to the Premier League?
Yeah, honestly, tonight and it's very difficult. No? It's very difficult to speak about the single player, because the whole team played a good game, for sure. And to see Rodrigo Bentancur and Deki Kulusevski to go into the team so quickly, and in this idea of football, and it's great for us. I say to you, after these two new signs, that now we are more complete, and because especially midfielder, and we lost for 2 months, 3 months in this moment, Skip, and we needed to have a player like Rodrigo. Don't forget Winksy, because Winksy is a player that is reliable. Is a reliable player, and improved a lot. And also Kulusevski is showing to be a fantastic prospect, no? And because we are talking about a player that is 22 years old, but you can see that he's strong physically, good technique, good talent, and they are helping us a lot.
Hi, Antonio. You limited Brighton to have no shots on target. How did you what did you tell your players in order to help stop that danger from Brighton?
Yeah, honestly, and to play against Brighton is not easy, and I think tonight we played a better game than the game that we played in FA Cup, because I remember very well that in FA Cup we won 3-1, but the result was a bit unfair, because they shooted a lot, and they were unlucky in that game. Tonight I think that we deserved much more to have a good result. They have a really good manager, because you can see an idea of football. They like to play football. They during the game they can change the system. It's working very well, and to work with the same team for many years help you, know, for improvement and the tactical aspect. But for this reason, I think that great compliment to the manager, because I think he's very, very good.
Antonio, I know you disagree when people say that your team plays counter-attack, and I understand. But the second goal today, did you think that was a classic counter-attack?
Yeah, but the game and you play 95 minutes, and during the game you have to be good to play and to exploit every situation. And also Liverpool, I see many times that they score in the counter-attack, and Chelsea, the best team, no? The best team, and you have to try to exploit every situation. And if you find a team that stay in their half pitch, you have to be good and to have a creative player, to create the superiority, to be the man. And at the same time, when they are attacking, the opponent are attacking, it's important to have players fast for the counter-attack. I think football is a lot of situation, no? And you have to try to improve during the training session all of the situation, to start from the back, from the goalkeeper, and to try to invite the pressure to attack the deep, and then also there is the counter attack. But I think in football there are many goals in counter attack, and but it's okay. We are very happy.
Okay, we've got time for one more, Mike.
Antonio, when Harry was celebrating his goal, did you see the spectacular volley of the Coca-Cola bottle that came out of the crowd? Because it was almost as good as the finish.
But
When Harry ran to the
yeah.
fans, someone threw a Coke bottle and he volleyed it back.
yeah, a bottle.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see this. Ah, okay, great. Yeah,
It was a friendly bottle, not
a friendly. Okay. No, but we are happy. We are very happy because Harry is scoring a lot, and you know very well that he started this season and he struggled a bit, and this season because he didn't score a lot previously. Now, and we are very happy because. As a manager, I know that I have world-class strikers that in every game he can score, and every single players to have Harry in your team make you stronger. But I think that at the same time, and Harry is starting to understand that with this team, with this way that we are playing, and he has in every game many chances to improve this record and to score and to enjoy. What I'm seeing that he's enjoying to play football with us together and with his teammates, and in this way that we are playing.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so that was everything Antonio Conte had to say on the game yesterday in his post-match press conference. Any thoughts from you guys on what he was saying there?
Yeah, the Harry Kane bottle. I was absolutely delighted with that. I'll be honest, I thought the guy was plucking a strand of his hair and putting it in the bottle and giving it to me as a gift to take home with me. No, I was absolutely delighted he scored. Antonio Conte on Romero, though, was very interesting. You know, he seems to think that he can really go far in the game. I'm absolutely delighted with that. Look, I remember coming on when we signed him and I said, you know, this guy is better now than what Virgil van Dijk was at his age. People laughed at me. They're not laughing anymore, boys. Not laughing anymore.
Yeah, Romero's coming for a lot of praise yesterday after another great performance. Obviously, he got his first goal for Tottenham, didn't he?
Goal.
And yeah, he's definitely been a shining light definitely since he got returned from injury. And Conte seems to be a massive fan of him. And one thing I've noticed, definitely, is that ever since he's come back into the team, we're a lot better at playing out from the back than he won before. We actually can build moves and build passing moves from the back while Romero's there. Like before with Sanchez and Tanganga, it just wasn't possible. But with that composure there, Romero is a big part of that. And we saw it against City. How many times? Like I think all 3 goals Romero was involved in from the back against Everton, and we saw it yesterday as well.
All right, well, let's get into the match review now. Obviously, Spurs beat Brighton 2-0 at the Amex yesterday. And I just didn't really think Brighton posed too much of a threat for us. I didn't even think Spurs were that good yesterday. I mean, first half, I wasn't happy with the way Spurs finished that first half. I thought it wasn't that I was unhappy with the way Spurs were playing. It was just that I didn't think we were that good, but we were better than a Brighton side that were pretty poor. But when the second half came, yeah, Brighton put us under a bit of pressure at the start of that second half. But after that, I mean, we just swept them aside, didn't we? We were creating chances at will. After we scored that second goal, Harry Kane was laying it to Reguilon on a plate quite regularly, twice. Reguilon probably should have scored yesterday. Kulusevski missed a one-on-one. I think that was in the first half, actually. Yeah. But we had so many chances yesterday, and probably 2-0 didn't do justice of how much we actually battered Brighton yesterday.
Yeah, look, it wasn't the best of games now, to be fair, but look, when we got out there, we eventually got the result done. Look, for me, I think Romero, 2 chances yesterday. Look, this has been a common theme with this guy all season, boys. You know, where he's getting in down the left-hand side, and he just doesn't have that composure in the box to shoot or pick out that pass. Should have had 2 goals yesterday. Kulusevski, look, I'll forgive him for that one-on-one yesterday, to be fair to him. Look, he should have buried it on another day. I think he would have. But look, they put us under a bit of pressure early in the second half, but we dealt with it well. And they asked questions of our defence. You look over the last couple of games, or even since the new year, the amount of goals that we've been conceding. And to be fair, we answered them questions yesterday, kept a clean sheet, which is a huge plus going forward into the bubble lovers at the weekend. And look, it was just great to get one over on the Seagull lovers. Look, a lot of people rate this Harry Potter guy. I don't rate Brighton whatsoever, and what I seen last night, boys, I have to say I was very disappointed with them for the amount of good that people talk about Harry Potter. But look, for me, I'm happy with the win. It's all about just getting the points on the board right now. Performances, look, I know maybe it wasn't the best performance, but right now it's just about getting points on the board and getting back out, and trying to get that top 4 spot and compete till the very end of the season. If we would have lost last night, season would have been over nice and early. So I'm delighted we got the win, boys.
Yeah, things definitely went for us yesterday. I feel like it wasn't even so much as maybe in the second half. In the first half, we didn't even have to create much. We were just relying on Brighton mistakes. You know, Kane tackles Sanchez for the chance to go to, and he misses the open goal. Kulusevski picks up the loose ball off Duffy and a bad mistake at the back, and he goes through 1-on-1. So it was just about Tottenham pouncing on when Brighton was screwing up at the back, and we ultimately made them pay for a lucky goal. But we didn't have to be our most creative to create yesterday, and that was probably that obviously helped us. But it doesn't mean we've learned much in terms of if we can be creative against teams who sit in a low block. I think Brighton weren't in a low block yesterday. I think they threw caution to the wind. I think they played well in parts in terms of keeping possession, but they didn't really put us under serious pressure. I felt like in the first half they barely had any shots. I think Maupay had 1 shot inside the box when he turned and hit it over the bar. In the second half, Cucurella had a opening on the left-hand side. He flashed a shot wide. That was pretty much it for Brighton. They looked pretty toothless. I think there were a couple of last-minute challenges from Romero and
Ben Davis as well.
Davis. They that could have been worse situations if they didn't get their timing right. But I think Tottenham answered as David said, they answered all the questions that were served of them. And it was a pretty routine victory. I think the second goal was a good piece of quality on the counter. Brilliant pass from Bentancur. Kane runs from goal, and it's a finish which is a lot harder than it looks into the near post, curling it in. So you've got to say that was impressive. But
yeah, it was harder than the shot he missed in the first few minutes. That's
definitely.
For sure.
Much harder. And he slotted that way, and then followed up with a brilliant volley off a Coke bowl.
Beautiful.
Iconic celebration. But I think Brighton. I think Brighton are in terrible form. You can see the lack of confidence they're playing with. I think that's evident.
I was saying to you last night that you can actually see, because I hadn't watched much of Brighton over the last couple of weeks when they've been on this losing run, but you could really see last night why they are on this losing run, because they're not playing well. Confidence seems to be sapped out of them. And, maybe there's a case of, their season being over so long ago, they're just on the beach. They've got nothing to play for, do they? They're not going to be threatened with relegation. They're not going to be going for European football. So they're just in that kind of no man's land at the moment where they've got really nothing to play for.
Yeah, looking at them yesterday, for me, I actually think they were already on holiday, to be honest with you, Ben. Look, they've nothing to play for, like you said. For me, I think they're just making up the numbers between now and the end of the season. And look, I listen to a lot of player podcasts and stuff like that, and they do say when it comes to, 20-odd games and there's nothing really left to play for, they do start thinking about their holidays and stuff like that. And I think that was definitely the case with Brighton yesterday, to be honest with you.
I think as well, I think Potter, might be coming under criticism now, but I think he did such a good job early in the season. I think they won 6 of their first 7 games, and then they only lost like 4 in their first half of the season. And I think they were pretty difficult to play against. They were pretty solid, but there's only so long he can get the most out of players like Solly March and players like Shane Duffy and Pascal Gross and these kind of players who are really. Not like that. I think he overachieved to get them playing so well in the first half of the season. So obviously they're maybe regressing to the mean at the moment. But I think they're struggling badly. But I wouldn't criticise Potter too much on that, because I think he's doing the best he can to get the best out of the players he's got at his disposal on at the moment. How many Brighton players get into a lot of other teams around them? Like
Suma's probably the only one that can do a job at a better team.
Yeah, Morpie could probably maybe be a striker somewhere, but
maybe a sub striker.
He's got 9 goals.
Yeah.
He's got 9. I don't think he's a top half striker, but he could definitely be a bottom half striker somewhere. Like he's got 9 Premier League goals. That's pretty impressive. Cucurella's probably a decent one on the left, but they don't have the players to sustain those kind of results, I don't feel. And that's just reality that they have to live with. That Brighton are always going to be around mid-table. That's just
and even
where
when
they
they're
are.
on the top of their game, they're still not winning many games. They're just drawing a lot of games.
They're just hard to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've kind of lost that. Maybe they got a defender.
Lamptey as well, someone mentioned in the comments.
Yeah, Lamptey, he didn't start yesterday, did he?
Yeah, he came on.
Shrinking. Yeah, Lamptey... Lamptey is a good player, but he didn't even start yesterday. I think he's had a few injury problems. So I think, thankfully, we got the job done yesterday. I just think they're going through a tough time at the moment, Brighton. They're going to have these spells. That's just the nature of where they are.
Let's go through our man of the matches. Who was your man of the match yesterday?
For me, look, only because he scored last night, and it's the first time I've been over when he's actually scored in front of me. I am going to go with Harry Kane. I know that's probably biased. Look, special mentions, Bentancur and Højbjerg in midfield. I actually thought they actually had a very good game in midfield in terms of keeping the ball and getting stuck in and turning the ball over. Romero, of course, maybe I mentioned there as well. Very good defensively. Got his goal last night. What a goal, by the way. Well,
Brilliant goal. Brilliant goal.
Took
it really well, didn't he?
And then he was making sure at the end of the celebrations, he was telling Kulusevski, that's mine. So, look, it was a good day all around going to the Brighton game, to be honest with you. Look, Kane scores, Romero scored, but for me, I'm picking Harry Kane. I know that's biased, but look, I love the guy.
Harry Kane is definitely in the conversation for man of the match yesterday. I thought he was brilliant yesterday, Harry Kane. But Sim, man of the match?
I think I'm going to go with Bentancur in the end. I think he was brilliant, especially in the second half. I think first half he had a few iffy moments, but second half he really stepped up for us, and I thought he was a touch of class, not just but both on and off the ball. He was providing that steal that we needed. I think Basuma, they had to take him off in the end. He couldn't get a look in. I think Bentancur was over him like a rash, and I think, to be fair, Højbjerg also had a very good game, but I think them two working together was a really positive situation. Also, Bentancur drove forward and played a beautiful pass. Not the first time he's done that for us, and he did it yesterday, providing a really great assist, well-timed and weighted ball to Kane, which obviously we ended up getting the second goal from. And I think he really started to strike stuff later in the game. He was doing fancy flicks, and he was doing some pirouettes, and he was holding players off. He was doing some really great stuff. So his confidence was growing, and that was really good. And it's a good response to his performance at Old Trafford, which had a lot of people questioning things.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Sim. I think there were 4 players in the running for man of the match yesterday. I think it was Harry Kane, Bentancur, and potentially Romero and Dyer, and probably Højbjerg actually had a shout in there as well. So I think those 5 were our really outstanding performers yesterday. And when you're talking about the defence yesterday, and you're talking about Eric Dyer, obviously he had that big challenge early on in the game that he had to get wrapped up, Terry Butcher-esque on the pitch yesterday. But when you talk about Dyer, I mean, he was a man-mountain yesterday. Anything that came over the top, he mopped up straight away. Romero on the other side, I mean, he's like taken up this kind of like Rudiger role in the defence, isn't he? He's always joining the attacks. He's always aggressive in the centre. And Ben Davies as well were making really good challenges at the back. So I think all three of them, all our centre-backs yesterday, performed at a really high level.
I tell you though, Ben Davies was annoying me a bit going forward, like especially in the first half. The amount of space that was down that left-hand side, and he was like very a bit tentative in the ball. He was either coming back, cutting inside, and instead of just giving it out wide to Reguilon and getting at them, and that did annoy me in the first half. But to be fair, second half, I actually thought Ben Davies kind of copped on a little bit and started playing the balls out wide down further. But just on the runs that Romero was making, like it's like he's picked up from Ben Davies, because before Romero really got into the team under Conte and came back from injury, Ben Davies was always coming out from that left side, getting forward, creating that extra man in midfield, that extra man going forward. And since Romero's come in, you've seen it over the last few games that Romero seems to be taking up that role a hell of a lot more now, that he does get forward as well, which is good to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's not the first time. Again, like even on the weekend, Romero comes forward and he forces Maguire into mistake. He's part of the move which builds up to the second goal as well. He's really starting to contribute, not with goals and assists, but just being an option in the final third with just a player to lay off to, which he can, which we can then hurt defenders. He's starting to become a bit of a nuisance for opposition defences now, not just opposition attackers, which I'm really excited about. And as I've said, he really helps us play out the back really effectively, and that's really, really positive. I'm really enjoying seeing Romero do that. And people maybe go on him for picking up too many yellow cards and being too rash.
Yellow card for Spurs.
Yeah, and people might say, oh, you know, he's got to, and even Conte said, you know, he's got to be concentrating all facets of the game. But I just think that it's not. I don't think it's him being rash. I just think that's what when you play the way he plays on the edge, you're going to miss a couple. But if you miss 1 in 10 and you're mopping up the other 9, then it's worth it. Then I think it's worth the odd yellow card, or even a yellow, you know, if you get a yellow card often, to win as many tackles and balls as he does, you might miss 1 or 2, but I think it's worth it for the way he plays. It's a bit like how under Pochettino, when Lloris used to sweep up a lot more than he does now. Like he used to be brilliant at it, and he used to miss like 1 in 15 or 1 in 10 or whatever it was. But because of the amount he used to sweep up and used to stop counter-attacks, it was worth it, like giving the odd goal away. It's a bit like Alisson as well. He cocks up 1 in a few, but because he gets so much, it's worth it. And I think the same with Romero.
Yeah.
To be fair though, lads, I actually don't mind that from Romero though, because I'd rather him at least put in them tackles rather than not make the tackle and not take any yellows, because last season, or especially under Jose, the amount of times I've seen players just run at our back line, through the midfield, at our back line, and nobody wants to make a challenge. No one was taking them down. And it's too soft. At least with Romero, though, lads, he will get stuck in. He has that competitive edge. He winds up the opponents. Yeah. I have no problem with taking the booking, because we need that nasty side. We need that edge. We need someone that's willing to get stuck in and you know, take people down and take that yellow card. But not only that, be able to manage it out through the rest of the game. And I absolutely love it. I think Spurs have been missing out from this, especially under Jose Mourinho. I'm delighted we've got him in.
Yeah, and in terms of he's got yellow cards, but he's only got 1 red, hasn't he, against Vitesse? He hasn't been sent off since, so he does tend to calm it down a bit. I
think we'll see at least 1 from now to the end of the season.
Yeah, we'll see, maybe. But I also think him picking up cards, I think psychologically for the attackers, it's like, oh, this guy doesn't even care about getting a card. I think that can put a bit of fear in them. It's like sometimes when a player an attacker will feel like this guy can't make a challenge because he's scared about getting yellow. He can't do anything. But when you're coming up with a defender who you know is not scared about getting a card, that probably in your mind, it's like, he doesn't care about kicking me. You know what I mean? That probably psychologically can make an effect there.
Yeah, sorry Ben, if you're an attacking player going forward though, it does put doubt in your mind, because the next time you'll be a lot quicker to look for an option and pass it off rather than try and get at him or try and skin him, you know. So it does change the opposition's game with how aggressive he is.
Exactly.
Moving on to the fullbacks, Reguilon. Let's talk about Reguilon first, because I thought he was getting in so many good positions. Later on in the game, Harry Kane was feeding him through. Really should have taken at least one of those chances yesterday. But I thought both Reguilon and Doherty were fairly poor yesterday. I don't know what you guys' opinions were.
I wouldn't say they were poor. I think Doherty wasn't getting in the positions that we'd like him to get into, especially in space. so he wasn't able to get many shots off or crosses in. But I think he was pretty solid. I think he allowed Reguilon to be a lot more of an offensive option. And again, Reguilon, I think he was involved in the build-up to the first goal, and obviously got into some great positions in the second half, which he failed to finish. But he keeps getting in there, and that's important. I think it's underrated when a player keeps getting those positions. I think if he can just improve his decision-making and quality in the final third, he can be a very, very effective left wing-back for us. And I think in terms of a player getting in those positions, he's the best player we have at the moment. That's very positive. That's a big element of how Conte wants to play. He just needs someone on that left-hand side getting there all the time. And I think for a player who gets a lot of criticism, I think he can be quite decent going forward, and I think he just needs to improve his quality. But he gets in there no problem, which is very positive, and I think he did that all day long yesterday, especially in a few occasions. So I think he was good from Reggie. I don't think he something to complain about. But Doherty, I think defensively was really solid. Didn't get forward at that much, but maybe he didn't need to.
Look, for Reguilon, for me, look, I know a lot of people have their reservations about the guy, but you have to remember under Nuno, he was our most creative player. He had our most assists as well. And to be fair,
not saying much.
No, it's not. It's not really, considering we couldn't get a shot on target. But look, to be fair to the guy, one thing I've noticed the common theme all season is he breaks down that left. How many times have we seen Harry Kane put him in behind, put them balls in? It's his decision making when he gets into them positions, which I think is mainly his biggest problem. But that's something that you can work on with this guy. You know, you can work on that. That work can be done on the training pitch. Look, defensively, sometimes he can get caught out. Especially last year, my biggest problem was he was jumping in too often, and then players were just cutting inside him the whole time. He seems to have cut that out a lot this year. He is better defensively. Just if we can get better decision making, I think you see a lot more from Reguilon with the amount of times he's being put in. Look, for the Irish Cafu, to be honest with you, look, it's Paddy's Day. I don't really want to go down this road, but look, for me, I know he's played well the last while. I think he's played well since he's come in against Leicester. But you look at Leicester, it was an attacking game. It suited him, you know. You look at the last couple of games as well that we've played, Leeds, Everton. Again, we had all the ball. It was attacking games. It suited him. And then you look at defensively against United, which I actually didn't think he was great defensively. The first ball that was put in over their head, and they knew that because to put one ball over his head straight away, he misread the judge of the flight of the ball. Sancho got in, passed it to Ronaldo, and Ronaldo was looking for a penalty when Dyer blocked the shot. So for me, look, Doherty, I think we just have to kind of manage that right wing back situation until the end of the season. Doherty for the attacking games, and for me, Emerson for the defensive games. But I also think Conte knows that. You look at Man City, he played Doherty because he knew we'd be sitting back, and then for the attacking games, Emerson because he knew we'd be sitting back, and then for the attacking games, he rolls out the Irish Cafu. So for me, I think, look, Doherty, I know a lot of people have been calling him Dohertino lately, same as me, to be honest. But look, for me, I would still look to kind of move this guy on in the summer. He's not getting any younger either, so you can't really improve him defensively.
Yeah, I didn't have too much of an issue with the wing backs.
In terms of the midfield, I thought Bentancur and Højbjerg were absolutely brilliant yesterday. I mean, Højbjerg, since that kind of really poor display against Southampton and then he came out of the team, since he's been back in the team, I think he's been sensational. Yeah. He does a lot of work that goes unnoticed. He lets his midfield partner, which is usually Bentancur now, strut his stuff. I know that didn't happen in the last game against Man United, but it definitely happened in the game yesterday. I thought Højbjerg, he's just there as a shield for the back four. He's aggressive. He's getting the ball, winning the ball back time and time again. And I'm just so happy with Højbjerg's displays at the moment.
We just look so much more solid when him and Bentancur are together in the centre. I don't think we've had one performance where we've looked really open or really at risk. I know maybe you can say maybe Man United, but I think more by and large we had control over that game. I think we've played 6 with them two in the centre. 1-4 and lost 2, with the 2 losses being Burnley and United. But I think by and large we've looked a lot more solid with them two together, and I think they're starting to create a much better partnership than Højbjerg's had with maybe Winks. Skips obviously been a big miss, but I'm really liking them two together. I think they cover so much ground. They're very, very aggressive. They win the ball back countless amount of times, and it sets us up for good attacking situations, especially when they win the ball in the centre of the midfield, like on the halfway line. And when you're winning the ball that high up, when you've got players like Kane and Kulu and Son to attack, they can be devastating, and that's proving to be a very effective weapon that we have against other teams. The amount of recoveries, ball recoveries and tackles Højbjerg and Bentancur making together, and Højbjerg starting to dribble a bit as well. He's starting to get on the ball and charge forward, which I'm really liking. I think sometimes, as we've said, when he's partnered with Winks, he can kind of get overrun and be a bit of like a headless chicken. But when he's next to Bentancur, he just seems a lot calmer, a lot more controlled. He seems to know which area he's gonna cover and all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot better situation, I feel. So I'm very happy with them two together and team. We look a lot more functional with them two together.
100%.
Yeah. Just quickly for me, I think he's gone from Pierre-Emile Brickhouse to Piero-Emile Høj Busquets. He's been absolutely brilliant on the ball, especially against United. Look, a lot of people were debating, is he really much better than Winks, this, that and the other? To be honest, guys, that's an absolute insult to the guy. Midfield is all about partnerships. What you ideally need in there is someone that's going to be able to break up play, win ball, and just give it off to the players that can play. And then someone in there that can get on the ball and spray passes, just a bit like Bentancur. For me, I've really liked Højbjerg also, most of the season. Look, don't get me wrong, I think he has had some bad games, boys. But all in all, I think, look, you put him in with someone like Winks, he's always going to look bad. Always. Bentancur doesn't look like the same player when he's beside Winks. It's such a drop-off in quality. And for me, I think this guy does an incredible amount of running in midfield. And I actually don't think we respect him enough in this fan base, to be honest with you. I do think we actually need to put a bit of respect on this guy's name. He just breaks up ball all day long in midfield. And look, I get it. It's been a very frustrating season. But believe me, it's been a long season. You know, me personally, I actually can't wait for this season to end. Just get fresh players in the summer. But this guy, all season long, he's been trucking away in the midfield, and I think we just need to, lay off him a little while and let him do his thing in there. Every team needs a player like him. You look at Real Madrid, they have Casemiro. You look at Bayern Munich, they have Goretzka. And the list goes on. Even if you go back to some of the great title-winning teams in England, United, they had Roy Keane in there. Every player needs a person in there like him. Every single team needs
Fernandinho, Liverpool, Fabinho, everyone's got one. But on Bentancur, I mean, that second half, he really did step up, as my brother mentioned before. I mean, he was getting the ball in the middle of the park. He was shrugging away from challenges. He was using his quick feet to get away from challenges as well. I mean, he was pretty much, they couldn't get the ball off him last night at times. And the way he was driving from the midfield through the attack and starting attacks, and what better example than that last goal, the Harry Kane's goal. The way he drove forward and that ball he played into Harry Kane was absolutely pinpoint. And Harry Kane does what Harry Kane does. So for me, Bentancur was absolutely brilliant, especially in that second half yesterday. And those front three, Harry Kane, obviously brilliant performance yesterday. But what is going on with Sonny? I mean, we keep bringing it up after every game at the moment. But again, I thought it was not such a great display from him again yesterday.
Look, with Sonny, I think he's just going through a bad spell of form. I'm not reading too much into it personally. Look, for me, he was playing out on right wing. He's now playing inside more or less in like a number 10. There's a lot more pressure on him in them positions. There's a lot more. He doesn't have as much time as he would out wide. Even the runs that he makes, they're completely different. Before, he was able to come in and bend his run. Now it's more or less a straight run in behind. So his whole game has completely changed this season since Conte has come in. I do think we need to just play him through his form, similar to what we've done with Harry Kane. I don't think you can drop him. Look, I just think it's a bit of bad form, and that's all it is with Sonny, to be honest. Look, wasn't the best yesterday. Didn't really get involved too much. But for me, I think you just got to play a player like that through his form. Because I think if you drop him, I think it gets worse. I think it plays on his mind. He starts thinking about it more. So for me, you just got to stick with this guy. He's been a super servant to Tottenham.
Yeah, again, it wasn't a great performance from Son. I'll give you that. But again, he was involved in the first goal, which he lays the ball off for Kulusevski, which obviously got a bit of luck. But he was involved in that piece of play. I think when you talk about Son's new position, I've been fairly not critical, but I've said like maybe it doesn't get the best out of him. But what I've seen like in the past like few weeks, it's like a bit of give and take with that position. I think when teams sit deep, he's much better when he's a bit further out wide, when he can isolate fullbacks and get to the byline, whipping crosses or cut inside. But when teams are pressing high and there's space for him, I actually think you can see a lot of benefits from him in this position because, as you say, he might not have to run from out to in, but if he can run in a straight line, he's all of a sudden central, and that's where he's most dangerous when he's literally on the run looking to finish a one-on-one or something like that in behind. And if he's more central than he is out wide on the left, he's a lot more dangerous. I feel if he's running in that straight line in behind. So those are the positives of having him in that position. The problem is. When he's got more players around him, when he's got more defenders to deal with, when he has to hold players off and use his strength, and maybe be a bit nimble in tight situations and squeeze through a few players and passing and moving in tight situations, that's not really his forte. He likes a lot more space. He likes to use his speed. So that's where drawbacks come from this position. I still think he's still getting used to it, and he's still and I think at the moment he's not having the best of times with it. But we saw against the likes of Everton and against the likes of City. He can play in this position to a fairly high level when it suits him. When there's space for him to play, you can get the benefits of it. So it wasn't a great display, but I wouldn't look to drop or anything just yet.
We also have to remember, though, this is a guy that's been involved in 11 goals in his last 14 games. Even though he's not really playing the best, he's still contributing, and that's all you can ask for at the end of the day.
That's exactly.
Absolutely spot on. And last but not least, Kulusevski, who I thought had another strong game yesterday. Obviously, we thought he scored the first goal, but it got a little nick off Romero. But, he was causing Brighton problems all night long with his quick feet, always looking to create chances. This guy, he's really slotted in like a glove, hasn't he?
Look, absolutely brilliant. Gimme a ginger from Sweden. Come on, no, I was absolutely buzzing. Look, for me, I just like what he does when he gets on the ball. It's like, okay, maybe he's not the quickest, but his brain is working quicker than everything else. It slows all the play down, great passing. It's his strength as well, his ball carrying ability. I think he's absolutely...
Ready made for this league, isn't he?
He's ready made for it. You look at the stature. Look, I think when you look at him, I think he's very, very similar to Harry Kane. I think body-wise, in terms of pace. And I think, look, if we can keep Harry Kane for another year, it's brilliant. But if we don't, I actually see this guy moving up into the striker position.
Really?
I think he can. I think he's... Look, you look at the way he holds up the ball. If you go back to the City game, the way he uses his body, like Harry Kane, gets in front of the player, puts his arms out wide, tries to hold him off to take down the ball. His passing ability, we've seen it already on display. He can play people through. He's got, 2-3 assists already this season since he's come, So, and for me, he's got a couple of goals. And I just think next season you're going to see this guy completely flourish. I think the deal we got him in was absolutely brilliant because it means the onus was on him to come to Tottenham to perform because he was falling off the boil a bit at Juve and you weren't really sure kind of what player you were going to get. But the onus was on him to come here and perform, and he's absolutely done that. For me, you sign him up on a permanent basis. I think he's been brilliant since he's got here. And I do think if Harry Kane, look, we don't know what the situation is in the summer, but I think this guy is very similar. Maybe might not get you the same amount of goals because Harry Kane has perfected his craft over the last so many years. But this guy can definitely slot up there for sure, I think.
And he's deceptive as well. People say he's slow, but he can beat a player because dribbling isn't just about speed. It's also about catching people off balance, driving into space, making the defender uncomfortable. And he can definitely do that with the strength and his quick feet and a bit of trickery. And how many times he nutmegs players and just you think, the defender's got him, and then he cuts inside or he goes on the outside and he just gets around them. He's definitely a deceptive player in that sense. And I think maybe defenders. He can catch them by surprise a lot with his ability to beat a player. And I think the main asset yesterday that he used was his strength, holding off the Brighton defenders, winning duels in and around the in the Brighton half. And obviously he was putting Duffy under pressure, which got the one-on-one which he missed. And it was another very encouraging performance for him. And he's really contributed. I think in 6 starts, I think it's 2 goals, 4 assists. So. Can't ask much more than that for a new signing, 21-year-old signing.
Absolutely. And now, 9 games to go left of the season now. 10 games to go. We got Arsenal 3 points above us now with a game played. They've played a game less. How do you guys rate our chances for top 4 now? Back in the conversation, obviously, with the Arsenal loss and gaining 3 points on them yesterday. For me, I would say it's an outside chance, but I want to just see our team stay in there until kind of late April time, when Arsenal and Man United both have a very hard run in that time. And if we can stay in there within a 3-point gap or within touching distance up until that time, I think there will be opportunities for us. I really believe that.
Yeah, go on.
No, go on.
No, I'm saying there will be opportunities, no doubt about it. There will 100% be opportunities. The fixtures that Man United and Arsenal have left, we have definitely a more favourable run-in than them two, especially with West Ham to come on the weekend. Once we get that game out of the way, we literally, I think, only Liverpool and Arsenal to play left in the final stretch. And whereas Arsenal have United, they still got West Ham away, which is going to be a tough game. They've got Chelsea. They got Chelsea as well. They still got very tough away games like Villa and Palace as well. Palace just took points off.
That's their next 2 games as well.
I think Palace just took points off City, so that's not going to be an easy game. Palace nearly beat them at the Emirates as well, so that's not going to be an easy game. Man United still have to play Liverpool, I think, as well. As much as we do, they still got Arsenal. They've got some tough games. So it's all about us. If we can get our job done, the points will be dropped. I'm 100% sure of that. The chances will be there to capitalise. We just got to concentrate on ourselves. Make sure we're at top of our game every single time. We now got 1 game a week. We got no excuses but to put in an absolute shift every time we get on the pitch. We got to be our absolute best. And with the fixtures we got coming up, there's no reason we can't go on a little run. But we just got to make sure that we focus on ourselves, because the points will be dropped by the other teams. I'm certain of that.
Do you know what? I completely agree with that. I think we've got to just focus on ourselves. Other results, I think, will pan out the way we want them to, but it's up to us now to be able to find this consistency and get a nice little run going. I think we've got favourable fixtures. Now, don't get me wrong. I think I've learned a good lesson this season that not every fixture in the Premier League is as straightforward or easy. But look, we've got more winnable games than what I would say Arsenal and United do. But for me, I think it hinges on this West Ham game. I really do. I think we beat them. I think we can definitely go on a nice little run, get a bit of a break over the international break, hopefully some players, and then go on a little run and take it from there. But for me, look, it is an outside chance, but I've always believed, you know me, I'm always a believer. I've been saying it all season. I got absolutely pelters after the United game. How can you be talking about top 4? It's over. Well, everybody's talking about it now, and I think this West Ham game decides it for me. I think we beat them. I think we can definitely do it. I think if we lose, I think it's going to be very, very hard to pick ourselves back up and get the points necessary to get top 4. So for me, I think it all hinges on this weekend with the bubble blowers.
All right, so that is our match review from the 2-0 win yesterday at the Amex. Let's move on and let's go and see how Twitter has been reacting to the win yesterday. Take it away. Just before we do that, actually, let's go into some of the super chats.
Yeah, so the first super chat, obviously, is Bob. We want to read out the super chat from Bob.
Big up, Bob. Great news.
This is unbelievable news from Bob. It says, after all the support you guys have given me, it's only right I announce this here. After 100 or so days in hospital, I've been given the all clear to go home. Thank you all for all the support, guys. And just
come on, Bob.
Standing ovation.
Absolutely lovely
round of
stuff.
applause for Bob coming home. I'm sure Kim and everyone else is going to be delighted to see him, and we can't wait to
Bob
see
Spurs
him
coming home. He's coming home. He's coming home. He's coming. Bob Spurs coming home.
Come on, Bob. Very, very happy for him, and it's been a long, hard road, I have to say, and he's been through a hell of a lot.
Yeah,
and times it was not looking good, but now he's coming home. It's massive news.
Absolutely,
really
massive news.
And
I can't wait. Obviously, there's still a long way to go in terms of him getting back to full fitness and stuff like that. But I can't wait till he's back in the studio and we can share a few jokes with him.
100%. Absolute touch of class, Bobby.
I'll be honest. I actually think the Spurs community has missed Bob's joking nature.
100%,
being able to make
100%.
a laugh at it, especially with what we've been through so far this season. Look, it's nothing compared to what Bob has been through, and I just encourage everybody out there, as soon as Bob does get back to full health and he does get back streaming, to get over there and show the guy a lot of love and support and help him get back up on his feet, because he's going to need it, but Bob, it's great to see you, my man, getting better. I only texted you this morning, you said you didn't know when you were getting out, so I'm absolutely delighted you're getting out, my man. Keep up the good work.
Love it. Absolutely love it. The next one is from Lazy8101, says, now there is a quality front three. Big up BS&D. Did you manage to get a clip of hair, David?
No, lad. No, I didn't. I was raging. I was a bit further back. I was hoping to be a bit more forward so that I could maybe get out there, celebrate, just take a little pinch of hair and I'd be happy. Look, what I will say, Big H, if you are watching, next time you go to volley that Coke bottle, catch it, put a strand of hair in it, and then volley it straight back to me, my man. Absolute legend.
Love it. Next one is from Tottenham Tantrum Gold. Big up to back to him. It says, big up, guys. Up the David, the boss, Irish Hotspur Harris. Come on, let's beat West Ham on Sunday. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Big up, Darren.
Yeah,
Legend.
big up, mate. Jory, welcome back to Gold. Big up to you, Jory.
Welcome,
And
Jory. Where did you go, Jory?
he went, mate. He's back now. That's the most important thing. And I don't know how to pronounce his name. Kajetal?
Armesto.
RMSO. And he put in a message saying, is new wing back still priority summer signings? Yes. For me, it is.
I agree.
Especially on the right. I think as much as they're doing all right at the moment, and maybe they're, I think they're performing to a level which are helping the team, they're still not at the required level where we need them to be. Unfortunately, I think they're performing at a decent level for us, but we need them to be outstanding players, and at the moment they're not. And I think once we have some outstanding wing backs, it's going to change us completely. Because then all of a sudden, because at the moment the teams kind of, they don't have to track, like they do have to track Reguilon and Doherty, but like the focus is on Kane and Son right at the moment, and that's why we're seeing Reguilon and Doherty, they're getting a bit of space because they kind of don't need to be worried about as much as Kane and Son. But once they do, then you'll see a different dynamic.
How many do you think we need in this transfer window?
2 probably.
2
wing backs.
No, I'm talking about players in general.
Oh, sorry, players.
I think 6.
Probably a centre mid, probably 2 centre backs, probably 2 wing backs, and maybe another forward player. So yeah, sounds about right.
The way I was looking at it, as 2 centre mids because I'd really like to see Winks being shipped out in the summer. So I would look at it as 2 centre mids, potentially 2 centre backs, a right back, and a striker. That's what I would be looking at.
Yeah, look, for me, I think you can accept 2 or 3 players in a January transfer window. I don't think you can accept it in the summer. For me, I would definitely like to see maybe 1, if not 2 right wing backs. I think left wing back, I think if we want to use the money in other positions, I think we'll be okay for another season. I think definitely 2 centre backs, 2 centre midfields, and I think you could probably let one go of Lucas or Bergwijn and then bring in someone else that maybe a bit different, that offers something a bit different, and maybe a backup to Harry Kane. But I don't want any journeymen coming in here. I don't want a Carlos Vinicius like we had, who was on loan up until he got to Tottenham, then he got to PSV this year. I want someone that can come in that when he plays, you get that feeling that he can get the goals. You're not like, oh, this guy's coming on and it's going to be hard to get the goals. You want a guy that's going to come in and he will bang in the goals. For me, I think you should be. I think we definitely need a striker, because you look at Kane. He's been rolled out there every single game. Son, the same thing. They're getting tired. You can't keep rolling them out for 38 games a season. And if we're in Europe again next season, it's going to be even tougher. Look, for me, I was happy to keep Dane Scarlett around this year purely because I didn't want Carlos Vinicius back. I didn't think he was good enough to be at Tottenham, but I definitely do think I don't think Dane Scarlett is ready, though. I do think he probably needs a loan spell looking at him. But for me, I definitely think you need a striker.
Can Troy Parrott come in and do the job?
It's a big ask. But what I will say, it does look like he's had a shift in mentality lately. Because before he went to MK Dons, he was a bit happy-go-lucky. Look, some of the people he was hanging around with, not the best of influences, I would say. But since he's gone to MK Dons, he won the Player of the Month there for last month. And he's coming out, he's saying the right things, that he wants to improve, he wants to get better. But it's a big jump from where he is to ask him to come in and do it in the Premier League and European games, though.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree
starting
with
to
that.
get a bit worried as well about Sessegnon, because as much as I like him and I think he's a good player and he did well, he can't stay fit. The guy can't stay fit. He's now out for another 3 weeks with
He
another
always
with a
seems to
similar
be
injury.
the same kind of injuries as well.
Yeah, that's
muscular
what
injuries.
Conte said. It's the same injury, and we're starting to get very worrying. And look, it's one thing if you're deadly king and if you're getting all these injuries, but you can put up with it because he's just so good when he plays. But Sessegnon is good, but is he that good to justify all the injuries? I don't know.
See, it's kind of one of them. He's kind of growing. He's still kind of in that growing age. As soon as he stops, them injuries might stop. It's hard to know, though. It's hard to tell.
It is hard to know. All right, is there any more? No.
No.
All right, let's go and see how Twitter reacted to the game last night.
All right, so we've got the tweets here. First one is from Sports Bible saying Harry Kane now has the record for most away goals by a player in the Premier League. 95 goals in 139 away games. That's a pretty impressive record. And he managed it in 104 less appearances than second place Wayne Rooney. So he's absolutely smashing. Does that mean he's the best away player in the Premier League history then? Must be.
Best away, yeah, striker anyway.
Best player
best
for away
away goal
from home.
scorer, yeah.
Come on.
Unbelievable stats there when you're looking at the games played between him and Rooney as well. And it actually, like I've spoken to you about this a few times now, Sim, with the Alan Shearer thing, but it actually blows my mind how many home goals Alan Shearer actually got. It's crazy.
Who stole my thunder on that tweet? I was actually talking about this in the car with G on the way yesterday. I forgot to say it today. Someone stole my thunder.
There's a brilliant picture of Harry Kane kicking the Coke bottle. Absolutely fantastic stuff. After it's becoming a bit of an iconic celebration, but it's a great picture, isn't it? Harry Kane kicking that Coke bottle.
Make that my screensaver.
Absolutely lovely stuff. There's a little video of it as well. Oh, it doesn't get the best connection though, does he? Could have got best. Imagine if he would have pulled a muscle doing that though. How angry he would have been. Absolutely raging. That's a brilliant clip there. Cody Mack says Kane gave the league a head start by only putting 1 goal in his first 13 games, and he's somehow joint third highest goal scorer in the league. The man is absolutely inevitable. How could you bet against him is beyond me.
There's not many big goal scorers scoring a lot of goals this season in the league. Obviously, you got Salah out on top on 20 goals. But the rest of them are all on like 12, 13.
Well, Jota got another one yesterday, didn't he? So he's one of the top.
He's on 13.
He's on 14 now, is he?
Oh, is it 14?
I think he's probably on 13.
I think it's 13.
Let's take a look. I think he's pretty sure he's on 13 now. And then you got, what is Mane up there?
Yeah, then Kane and Mane both level on 12, I think it is.
Yeah, so I think he's done very well to be where he is. Where is it? Where can I can't find it for some reason.
I'll get it up here in a sec. It's easy to get it on here.
Yeah, look, but I definitely think Harry Kane has proved a lot of his doubters wrong, And look, rightly so. I understand people that were pissed off with him, angry with him, and stuff like that. But I think he's taught us a very valuable lesson here. Just because a world-class player, and we can apply this to Son, just because a world-class player is having a dip in form, or maybe not at the peak of his powers, do not give up on them. Especially players that have helped this club for the last 5-6 years continuously, season in, season out. And that's why I encourage everybody to not give up on Sonny. Stop, let him just play through that bad form. We learned our lessons with Harry. Well, not me and you, Sim, because we knew that. We knew, but I think most people have learned their lessons, lad.
Most people.
Yeah.
It was getting quite toxic at one point, wasn't it, with Harry Kane early in the season? But thankfully he's turned that around. And his third goal scorer is Salah, Jota. Jota's on 13, Ronaldo, Kane, and Mane level on 12.
Yeah, and Sonny just behind on 11.
So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm pretty sure Kane will finish second in that, the way he's going.
Any
at the
chances
moment.
for top?
He's eight goals behind. 8 goals behind. I don't think so. But I do have a bet that with my friend, he's going to hit 22. I think 22 goals. And
You said 22. Are you doubled down on the 20?
And
Well,
he
not doubled, but
needs 10 in 10.
Did you need a hat trick against West
He
Ham?
could do it. Why not? Why not? The form Kane's in, I've got no doubt. All right, next one is from THFC. Conte Tici, I think. Well,
I love that.
Some just go away with that. Højbjerg, again, quietly had an impressive game. I said quietly because he's often overlooked in midfield, not flashy, but does the essential dirty work and performs his role well. I guarantee you any top side would love to have a player like him in their squad.
Absolutely.
We were saying that earlier on, like, you know, with Madrid, United teams of the past that have won the leagues, every team has a player like that. For me, he does the work that nobody else wants to do. You know, the hard graft, the off-the-ball stuff, like me. Look, boys, we've all played football here. Ben, you were good on the ball. I was good on the ball.
Was I?
Well, you said you were. You said you're a nifty little winger. But like, you know, when you do have the ball, you don't necessarily want to be running back after the ball or stuff like that, you know. And for me, I think, although some fans may not appreciate him, I can guarantee you everybody in that squad appreciates the work he does off the ball.
Definitely.
When you're looking to get back into like the quality that we had under Pochettino in those 2 years when we challenged for the title, and you had Victor Wanyama there, how do you think he does compare to a Victor Wanyama?
Well, I think Wanyama for that season was one of the best in the league. He was an absolute beast destroyer. Like it was very difficult for people to deal with him. So I think at the peak, I don't think he's up there, just because physically I don't think he's the same profile as Wanyama. But I think he could definitely be in a functional team, Højbjerg, 100%. He's very good at a lot of different things, and he's kind of like he can be very good on the ball in certain situations. He can be very good off the ball in certain situations. But he's not like the perfect midfielder. But I don't think people will say, oh, you can't be top four with Højbjerg midfield or something like that. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, but you know, forget top four, right? What Conte wants to bring to this club, there's the mentality to fight for the title, right?
Yeah.
Can Højbjerg be in a title challenging side, do you reckon?
If you put Højbjerg in the City's team or Liverpool's team, I think he would look good there. I think he would look a lot better in those teams, in a functional team. I don't think he'd be overrun. He would be in a system that suits him. I think he could perform in those. I think in Liverpool's team, actually, more than City's, he would be very good. I think in one of those midfield three destroyers who his job is to just purely win the ball back and get the ball very quickly to Salah and Mane and Jota or Diaz. I think he would be very good, very effective in that system.
And we also have to remember though as well, like when we brought Wanyama in, he was slotting in beside one of the best midfielders in the world, Moussa Dembele.
Yeah.
And he was also coming into a very, very good Tottenham team that only needed one or two bodies to complete it.
And he had Rose and Walker as well, who could cover a lot of ground on the sides.
No, exactly, spot on. And then, you know, Højbjerg was coming into a team that's in complete disarray. So for me, I think it's very hard to kind of compare him to Wanyama until you see him in a good Tottenham team who are winning most weeks.
Yeah, definitely. And when he was under Mourinho, he was one of our better players, wasn't he?
Well, that's why he was brought in. He was brought in to be because Ndombele was good on the ball, but didn't want to do anything off the ball, apart from eat McDonald's. So that's why Højbjerg was brought in, to be that guy, to do the defensive work. And then because we had other midfielders who, look, I'm not even going to mention his name because I don't want to lose against West Ham. I'm afraid if I do, we will lose against West Ham. But, you know, people are saying, oh, he can't pass the ball, he can't do this. But it's very easy to pick out the guy's weaknesses when he's not when he's playing in a midfield with someone who's not doing their job. Like we have to remember, Højbjerg was brought in under Jose Mourinho to do the defensive side of the game, to provide that steal behind Ndombele. Now, if Harry Winks isn't getting on the ball and spraying passes, which is what everyone says he can do, but then why are we putting that on Pierre-Emile Højbjerg? You can't put that on him. It's not his game. It's not what he was brought in to do.
Exactly. Absolutely. Right. That's spot on. Kane, easily the most complete striker in the league. We are so lucky to have him, says COYS.com. And
is he the most complete striker in the world?
Yeah, probably. In terms of what he can do, I think in terms of the word complete, I don't think you can argue that. Maybe he doesn't have the pace that other strikers do, but he has the movement to get away from players. Like yesterday, he's completely through one-on-one with no one near him. But not because he's quicker, but because he's smarter. Yeah. And that's exactly why he's got all that time and space. Obviously, his passing range is different class to most other strikers in the world football.
How do you stack him up against Karim Benzema at the moment?
Benzema, I believe, has better hold-up play than Kane, although Kane's is pretty strong. I think Benzema's is a bit better.
Another level, isn't it, Benzema?
Benzema's brilliant in that kind of stuff. And he's, I think, actually in a weird way, Benzema, he's more of a number 9 striker than Kane is. A way he doesn't like to leave the penalty box as much as Kane. I think he's probably a bit better at like winning headers and stuff. But I think Kane at dropping deep, picking out passes, and I think Kane's finishing is better than Benzema. So.
Well, I was having a massive argument a couple of nights ago with an Arsenal friend of mine. We were trying to rank the strikers in the world: Lewandowski, Benzema, and Kane. Who's your top 3?
So difficult.
In order.
Oh, look, I'm going to go big H, of course. Look, for me, I think he is the greatest striker in the world. I think he's the most all-round striker, to be honest.
It's just difficult because if you put Kane in Bayern Munich or Kane in Madrid, You know, he'll
Yeah.
probably hit more numbers than what those
Well, let's
strikers
flip
are
it
at
the
the
other way
moment.
around.
I personally think Benzema and Kane are more complete strikers than Lewandowski. I think Lewandowski is an absolutely world-class, insane finisher and poacher. But I actually think Kane and Benzema have more to their game than Lewandowski.
What I would say is, let's
But you got to remember, Lewandowski's 34.
Yeah.
You know, and so is Benzema also 33, 34.
Yeah.
So that also is proof that Kane could go on for how much longer as well, isn't it?
for me, like the question you asked, if Kane went to Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, I think, look, he'd stack up the numbers, no problem. Would Benzema or Lewandowski come into this Tottenham team the way it's been the last couple of years and hit the numbers he has? I don't think that. I don't think
They'll
they
get
would.
goals, but I don't think they would get the numbers he has.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah. They would be able to carry a team like Kane does. I don't know. RC says what Kulusevski is doing for Spurs is not normal. We haven't had a signing this impactful in years. Actually, I saw another tweet as well. It says Kulusevski is the first attacking signing since Van der Vaart to hit the ground running. Can you think of another one? For the last what year are we in 2022? And we signed Van der Vaart in 2010, so the last 12 years.
Well, Bergwijn scored in his debut.
Bergwijn, yeah, but dried up pretty quickly.
Yeah. Heung-min Son didn't hit the ground running.
Although he scored on his debut in the Europa League, he didn't really hit the ground running, did he?
Yeah,
So,
I mean Harry Kane, but he wasn't a signing.
yeah, not many attacking signings have really hit the ground running, have they? Like in over 6-7 games.
No,
No, I can't
no,
think
you're
of any.
right.
Can't
You're
think
right.
of any.
Kulu's the. Yeah.
Adebayor maybe.
Was that after? Yeah, it was after Van der Vaart.
He kind of scored in his debut and went on a bit of a scored against Liverpool in his first home game. Maybe Adebayor, but not many attacking players, have they?
About Crouchy.
Crouchy? I don't think he really
I
hit the
don't
ground
remember
running.
his start at Spurs. Crouch.
Pavlyuchenko definitely didn't. No. Yeah, so I think that he might have a case there.
Big L says Chadley.
Chadley, he definitely didn't hit the ground running, did
I
he?
can't remember, to be honest.
I don't really know. He was took a while. It took him about a season to.
Jimmy says Delhi.
Dele Alli, yeah, he's
Yeah,
probably
to be
one.
fair.
Dele Alli, yeah, that's a fair point. All right, next one. Josh, THFC Josh says Højbjerg has been brilliant again, but you won't hear anything about it because our fans don't like him. Or
We've
you're
just
hearing
been
about
waxing
it, but-
lyrical about
Exactly,
him. What are you
come on.
chatting
It's all
about?
about Pierre-Emile Højbjerg today. I love it. I absolutely love it. Pierre-Emile Høj Busquets.
Exactly. Statman Dave says Dejan Kulusevski has been directly involved in 6 goals in his last 6 Premier League games, 2 goals and 4 assists. He provided Christian Romero's opener. Good stuff there. Let's talk about this. Miguel Delaney says Arteta criticises the schedule with the quick turnaround to the Villa game. Arteta's quoted saying, "Thank you very much to the Premier League. It's not fair what they've done."
Yeah, but it's not every day, willy-nilly we can just cancel big games like the North London Derby.
For one COVID case.
Just because you got one COVID case and you got 4 players at the AFCON and a sending off in the previous game with Xhaka and a few injuries. And
That
stuff
wasn't
like
fair
that.
either.
Huh?
That wasn't fair either.
Exactly. So it's not exactly Arsenal's place and Arteta's place to talk about fair play.
I know. Was it fair when we had to travel to Burnley, then go to Leeds and early morning kickoff on the Saturday? Was that fair? I didn't see him say anything about
Exactly. Every club has to go through what Arsenal are going through in the fixture pile-up. So I mean, Arteta can go do one.
that. Do you know how many
seriously.
games they've played in the last 11 weeks?
You know what I mean? Exactly.
8.
Exactly.
8. Do me a favour,
And
Arteta.
he's talking like, we got European fixtures to handle every week. We're still in the cup.
Literally playing
They're
one
literally playing
game.
one game a week. And sometimes they're not playing a game a week. And they're complaining because they got 3 games in the space of a week in late April.
Even when they played their midweek game against Wolves, they didn't play that on the weekend. Like they've literally had it so easy, and this isn't even that deep. Playing on at home on a Wednesday, then go travel to Birmingham on the Saturday. That's
Yeah.
really not that deep.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had no Europe this year, so I honestly don't know what the guy's complaining about. To be honest with you, I think he just needs to listen to the streets. Dry your eyes, mate. To be honest.
Is this
When-
pressure getting to him? Maybe?
When you're looking at the top 6 teams and the teams fighting for the top 4, Arsenal have played the least games out of everyone. So that's what you have
By
to
far,
look at.
yeah, exactly. They got out early in the FA Cup, didn't they? That's the boys at the end of the game. There's Dyer and Højbjerg and Lloris all hugging and Son clapping the fans at the end of the game. Very good stuff. That's posted by Lay.
Just a special mention to Dyer and Luis, actually, who went over to the crowd and gave them a jersey.
Yeah,
Fair play to
and
him after the
Lucas
game,
as well.
yes,
I think who seems to give it someone in the Brighton crowd. Maybe it was a Tottenham fan in the
Oh,
Brighton
really?
crowd.
I
Yeah,
didn't
but
see
someone in the Brighton section was holding a Brazil flag. I don't know if it was a Brighton fan or not. 121. So Harry Kane has scored 243 goals in all competitions for Tottenham, netting an equal amount both home and away, with 1 goal in a neutral venue. Symmetry.
Wow.
Who was the goal in the neutral venue?
That was that at MK Dons? Did he score that game? When
No,
we
that
played?
that count as home.
Huh?
Does that not count as home?
Well, that's the only one I can think of as a neutral venue.
Oh, maybe he's talking about where he scored in the FA Cup semi against Chelsea
at
at
Wembley. Maybe.
That wasn't a home game, so it must be that one. That's pretty mad. Perfect symmetry there.
Yeah.
For Tottenham goals.
Unbelievable. Harry Kane, man.
120 goals each. Paul O'Kay said they've not given that pen because we're 2-0 up and the game is won. Pathetic. I haven't seen a replay of the incident.
Yeah, me neither, to be fair.
But everyone's saying it was a penalty at the end. Kane got caught.
Well, it was right in front of us, wasn't it? And
Kane doesn't usually go down like that unless
we
he's got
weren't,
caught.
and you saw Emerson as well, who was quite close to it, and he was going nuts. So,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, on first sighting, it did look like a penalty, but I need to see it again to really see.
But this has been a recurring theme the last couple of games. If you go back to, there was, I can't remember what game it was now, but it was only a game I saw recently that there was something went on in the penalty area. Sky Sports, no media, didn't show any of the replays, wasn't even checked. But yet, when stuff is given against us, it seems to be checked every single time. Especially even the likes of the old Big Four teams, United, Liverpool, stuff like that. Every single thing gets checked. They sit there and they analyse every single replay to the minute detail, even the likes of Fraud Sports and stuff like that. But when it comes to Tottenham, you just don't see it. Like, I think it was actually against United. I was sitting there for the next 5-10 minutes. Like, are they ever going to show this replay? You know, just didn't show it. And for me, I think it's absolutely disgusting. For me, that was a penalty all day long on Big H. I was right in the centre. We were more or less in the centre of the goals and I could see it. Penalty all day long, but they didn't give it because they felt sorry for Brighton. But they also know that there's goal difference involved in this top 4. You know, so for me, I don't know, you know. I don't know. I think they want to kind of, like you were saying yesterday, guys, about the North London Derby. You think that they're going to wait until, you know,
as late as possible, basically.
As late as possible to put it in there to try and put as much on it, make as much money off it, and this, that, and the other. And it wouldn't surprise me that if there's something to do with the goal difference going into that as well.
To be fair to Spurs, though, we have caught up pretty well on the goal difference now. I think only 3 goals, is it, behind
we're 3
Arsenal?
goals behind
a few weeks ago, we were like 11, 12 goals behind them. So you've got to give us credit for doing that.
Yeah, definitely. And now when people, I don't think it's at a stage now when you can say, oh, it's 6, but basically 7, because with 3 goals, it can be wiped out with 1 game easily. So, what's this? World of Hotspur says, in a reply to a tweet about Vertonghen, says, selling Vertonghen and shoehorning in Ben Davies to play his position borders on criminal neglect.
I was thinking
Vertonghen-
about this, man, big time, when I was seeing
Vertonghen,
the
a
highlights
brilliant
from
performance.
Benfica. Yeah, he was unbelievable against Ajax. I mean,
you
I was
take
watching
Vertonghen
the
back, David?
highlights.
We were only speaking about it the other
Yeah,
night.
we
watching
had
the
a big
Champions League
conversation
game.
about it, didn't we? And we both said that he gets into our team now 100%.
Yeah.
How old is he still now? 33?
He's 33, yeah.
But he
Not a
said it
terrible
himself,
age.
though, lads. He said it himself. He came out and said he'd done an interview and he said, "Look, I was still sort of concussed when I was going through that bad spell of form and stuff like that." So I just think, but look, we know our medical department isn't the greatest anyway. Conte has questioned them and criticised them, and maybe this is one they got wrong, you know.
I think, maybe our medical department does need question because Mourinho as well was frustrated with him, wasn't he?
Does Toby get into this team then?
Toby, ahead of Romero.
His backup, or at least anyway.
I think Vertonghen in the back three could be good. Bentancur versus Brighton. That was obviously his display. Look everywhere. Look at that heat map all over the place. 3 interceptions, 1 assist, 1 tackle, 2 accurate long balls. Very good display.
And that
from,
is the way to
Uruguay.
respond to a poor performance. That is the way to respond, and credit to him.
Højbjerg on Instagram, my Swedish brother.
I
Look
thought
at
he
that.
was going to say, "Give me a ginger from Sweden."
No, look at that. My Swedish brother, him and Højbjerg seem to be getting on very well. Big up to them. Extra Inch says, lovely job. Spurs from Spurs Die. Really, really solid tonight. Actually solid. Undersells him. He was great. Romero went full Romero. Dreamy stuff from him. He's so good when he glides forward. He when he joins the attack. Højbjerg really good too. And Bentancur much improved second half.
Absolutely.
And that's, as you're talking about Romero when he joins the attack, and that's something that he's doing more and more, isn't it? And that's really good to see.
Yeah.
but he got the benefit for it last night. You look at United, he ended up forcing Maguire to put the ball into his own net, because if he didn't make that run against Man United or follow up and he was caught ball watching, Maguire wouldn't have been under that pressure to make that decision. And then yesterday again finds himself in the box. Kulusevski shoots, comes off and goes into the goal. But this is a guy that we've seen keeps breaking forward, and I absolutely love him. I love this guy.
He's
And
always
got
in
his
the box,
reward.
isn't he? Always in both boxes.
Do you know what? Sometimes it's you kind of worry sometimes, because you're like, where's Romero? You just see him strolling around up front or back through the midfield, walking backwards. He's an absolute lunatic. I love this guy. I love him.
I agree.
Kulusevski on Instagram, I say Bomba Kuti. Putting on his Instagram there. I think I don't know if he's angry that Kuti took the goal off him. He looks happy for him though. They look happy for each other. Look at that.
I think Kuti went up to him and be like, that was my goal.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you chatting about?
And then Romero responding on Instagram just with that as well. Michael Bridge says Conte making sure every squad member gets a hug, even has time for a few selfies with Brighton fans behind his dugout. He'll be happy with tonight's performance in the end. Job done. I can't imagine Conte taking selfies, but there you go. Apparently he was. Kane with the Coke bottle again. Brilliant stuff. And XG yesterday. Brighton had apparently had 1.34 XG compared to Tottenham's 1.89, so maybe a bit closer in XG terms than the game suggests. But I don't know what they're basing it on, because we had much better chances than them. I can't think of what Brighton had. Maybe they're thinking about shots blocked or something.
I think they did have one or two that kind of just drifted across the goals and went wide in the end. But they were dangerous enough positions.
True. This one's interesting. What's it called? Harry Kane has now equaled Robin van Persie's Premier League record of 39 goals with the weaker foot.
Records just keep coming.
Look at that. So one more goal with his left foot, and he'll have the record for most goals with the weaker foot.
The funny thing about this, before Harry Kane, I never heard of any of these records.
They're all there, mate.
Never heard of anyone speaking about any of these records. And now, when Harry Kane, because we got nothing else to sing about, right? Because Harry Kane is just like breaking all these obscure records.
It's people like me, lad. We go digging into it. And we find a reason to tell everybody that they were wrong.
It goes to show, though, how two-footed he is, but he doesn't get enough credit for that. Does
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Because he gets more than that. But there's Son as well, 31. He's in the top 5, so very good stuff there. Charlie Eccleshare says, I've taken a lot of flack for sticking with Tottenham top 4 prediction, but as I said on the View from the Lane podcast on Monday, much of my logic is based on Arsenal's fixture list. Their games in hand were Liverpool and Chelsea, plus the North London derby at Tottenham, which always made their position a bit deceptive. Do you agree with that?
I would. You look at the remaining fixtures, they got a lot of the top teams left to play. So I do think it's been deceptive, and that's what I've been making my top 4 prediction off as well, is looking at Arsenal's remaining fixtures compared to us. We've got a lot of our trickier games, you would say, out of the way. They have all their trickier games to come.
The thing is, with Arsenal's trickier games, I think if they were all in like kind of isolated periods, like in and amongst their kind of easier games, I thought it would have been a bit easier for them. But now they've got these 3 games clumped within the space of a week and the North London derby to think about. I think it could get a bit difficult for him.
And hopefully, because they haven't had much pressure on them this season either. They've been clearly playing with a lot of freedom. You see that, the young squad. It's a bit like with Tottenham when under Pochettino, when we were playing with when we had no pressure on us and we were playing with just the freedom of coming up with no expectations, we were playing great and stuff. And then as soon as the pressure hit and as soon as we're actually fighting for things and we've got this expectation on us, then we start to falter a bit. And maybe the same might happen with Arsenal. We'll see.
Well, let's make out that Arsenal should be favourites. Arsenal should be getting top 4, and then when they don't, we can all laugh even harder.
Exactly. And then he goes on to say, I also said that I thought Arsenal would get 4 points from 3 games this week, and I stick by that, which gives Spurs the opportunity to make it a point going into the international break. Arsenal would have a game in hand, but it's Chelsea away. Pictures can change very quickly. So he would say Arsenal need a draw on the weekend for them to have 4 points, and let's hope they do that. EPL Statman says only players to have scored 4+ goals with their right foot and left foot in the Premier League this season. There's Salah, Jota, De Bruyne, Son and Kane, both in there. Kane now a new addition. And then here's someone's predictions going in for top 4 from now to the end of the season. Koscielny saying it's far from over. He's predicting He's saying Tottenham to get 73 points with a draw against West Ham, a loss to Liverpool, and winning the rest of them. And Arsenal to get 72 points with a draw away at Villa, a loss away at Chelsea, draws to West Ham and Man United, and a loss away at Spurs. Winning the rest.
Well, that means it's all going to come down to that derby then.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Could make the difference.
Yeah, it will.
And
make the
seeing
difference,
as how I think we've won every derby at our stadium. So
don't say it, man. Don't
Do
say
you
it.
think top four will be 72 points this year? I know.
I think it'll be
that's-
less, but
that's
yeah.
the average. But do you think it could be a bit less this
The
season?
average actually 69. So whether it'll be 72, I think both teams would have to go on really great runs for it to be that. I
Yeah.
think it'll probably be like 68, 69 might be enough. And you've got Man United in there as well. They're out of the Champions League, so whether what they'll do from now to the end of the season as well. But they also got some very hard fixtures. Sonny dropping his first NFT. That's going to be happening. So anyone going to put in a bid for that? You getting on the NFT action?
I don't know too much about it, to be honest with you, lad.
We're
but,
going to release an Irish Hotspur NFT soon.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, I'm in the middle of looking at all this NFT and stuff like that. But yeah, look,
And
I'm
Dave's
up
hitting the market. Yeah, got any put a cheeky bid? It's probably going to go for 100,000 or
As
something.
soon as Harry Kane puts one up, I don't need to do any research. I'm buying it anyway.
And then this one from Joel Waithman says 1 goal from 53 attempts is legit bad, especially for a guy who is otherwise great at finishing. Just stop it. Do you know what he's talking about?
Sorry, read that out again. I can't really see it.
1 goal in 53 attempts for Harry Kane is legit bad, especially for a guy who's otherwise great at finishing. Can you predict what he's talking about? Free kicks.
Oh, free kicks, obviously.
There you
yeah,
go.
Obviously.
There
I mean,
you go.
I was screaming in the stadium last night, don't let Harry take it. Don't let Harry take it. We want Eric Dyer. And even the fans, the whole away end, started singing Eric Dyer's song when the free kick gets taken. And then Harry Kane just goes, step away, Eric.
It's 1 goal from 53 direct free kick.
And that
attempts.
1 goal was his first free kick, probably.
And there was deflection as well.
That was his job,
That was
against Aston
deflection.
Villa.
I think apparently Dyer and Kane had a bit of a tussle over it. Apparently,
Yeah, I mean, Dyer came over and said he wanted it, and Harry Kane was just like, "No, you're not having it."
I don't understand because Dyer's a much better free kick taker than him.
But why can't we have Sonny on free kicks?
Don't know. Sonny
Should
never
train
takes
the
it.
video.
Yeah.
He never takes it on Sonny. David Ellis just posting a picture of Benjamin just saying utter filth. There you go. Brilliant stuff. That was the tweet from Trevor Lloyd saying, besides Van der Vaart, Kulusevski is the only attacking signing I can remember that has come straight in and made an impact, slotted right into the side. He's so good. Here's Mark Train says 2 weeks ago we played City away 5:30, Burnley away on Wednesday 8 p.m, Leeds away on the Saturday 12:30, and Borough away on the Tuesday, not even the Wednesday, on 7:30. 10 days, 4 games, all away from home. Did Conte moan? No. Message to Arteta there.
Exactly. Just grow up, Arteta, man. You've had an easy run. You've had an easy run this season in terms of fixtures, scheduling, and all that. No European football. 1 game a week. Out the cups in the first round, more or less, in both of them. Grow up, man.
His 7 saying if this was Son, he wouldn't get out of this alive. This was a picture of Kane missing. I'm not sure how he missed that.
Yeah.
For someone like Harry Kane, he's got to be scoring from
If
now.
we didn't
even on his
win
left foot.
yesterday, I mean, everyone would be looking at this.
Yeah,
Everyone
definitely.
would be looking at
Bad
this.
miss. He should be scoring that, shouldn't he? And that's it. And then there's the Spurs admin replying to Matt Hayes, saying what's it called? Matt Hayes replying to a Tottenham tweet saying Silky from Bentancur, and then he replied to Rodrigo. And the Tottenham admin replied, has a nice ring to it. There's some nice interaction for you guys. But that's it. That's it for Twitter for today. Oh, actually, there's one more from Bob Spur. Where was it? Said, personally, I think the Coke Bowl made it a big meal, a big meal deal out of it. My £5 on Kane, 22-1 to finish top goal scorer awaits. Let's see what Bob gets from now to the end of the season. Big up to you, Bob. But yeah, that's it for now.
All right, so that is how Twitter reacted to the game last night. A few super chats to get through, and then we'll start bringing you guys on to have your say. Benedict Hampers says, that's how to do a match review. Big up the Irish Hotspur.
Big up, Benedict. Hope you're keeping well, my man. Absolute legend. I'm enjoying myself here today. I really am. I'm really enjoying it.
Dan, come on you Spurs, says, great to see David making his live debut on We Are Tottenham TV. See you all Sunday. West Ham at home. No better time to get a win.
Yeah,
Love
look,
it.
Sunday I'll be down there early. I'm gonna be in the pub. If anyone wants to come down and join me for a pint, it'll be absolutely brilliant. The last time I done the day trip, I didn't really have the time, so myself and Jack will be there and hopefully making a time for everybody. So Dan, more than welcome to come down and join us, my man.
Ben Kaufman says, big up lads and everyone in the chat. Come on, you Spurs. And big up Ben, by the way. And Bob Spur back is saying same thing in the tweet.
Yeah.
He says the Coke bottle made a right meal deal out of it.
Love it, Bob.
And there's one last one from Lloyd Savine saying 4 signings you've loved to see in the summer. Take it away.
Ooh, 4 signings I'd love to see in the summer. I'd love to see maybe
Messi.
Pau
Ronaldo.
Torres. Pau Torres at centre back. Maybe at right wing back. Who do I want to see at right wing back?
Jed Spence.
I would like to see him, but maybe as a backup because he's still very, very young. We don't want to rely on him. Although, did you see his goal yesterday?
No.
Oh, what a goal he scored.
really?
20, 30 yard into the
really?
top corner. What a hit. Brilliant goal. But maybe a Lamptey or something, or a right wing back. I'm trying to think of who would be the best option who's available. Centre mid. Who would I want to see at centre mid? Maybe I would say Kessie, but he looks like he's going to Barcelona now. He's always looked like that, hasn't he? So not sure I'd want a centre mid. And striker Dybala.
Dybala. Who's your
Him in.
4?
Or even Dennis. I wouldn't mind Dennis as well.
I agree with Pau Torres. I'd love that. I would also, I know this one is way out there. I know it's not going to happen, so please don't cane me in the comments. But I would love the lit as well to kind of shore up that back line.
Just shore it up a bit, get a delay. Yeah.
Going into midfield, there's a player out in Italy who I really rate. I think he will become a very good player. Is Sandro Tonali.
Yeah. He's good.
He's a good
very
ball
good.
player, great ball playing midfielder. I think he'd be an absolute asset to this Tottenham team. How many is that, lads? It's too early in the morning. How many is that?
You've picked
3.
3. Okay, so we need one more.
Striker. What striker?
Yeah, striker. Let me think. Oh, who's gettable? Who's gettable? I tell you, I know it probably won't happen because of Chelsea, but I do like your man Broja, from Southampton scoring a couple of goals.
My 4. Great. I'd love to see Christian Eriksen back after seeing those kind of. Are we down?
No, we're back.
All right, we are back now. We are back. Look, I think Bale would be a great option to have off the bench. I definitely believe that. One player I'd really like to see back is Christian Eriksen after seeing those performances he's put in for Brentford. That's definitely something we're missing in this team.
You just don't want to let go of that Spurs squad, do you? You just don't want to let go of it.
But it's not just that. It's
I
just
think he's got the quality.
Exactly,
Still.
he's got the quality that we're missing in this squad. That's
Also,
the
I don't think it would have the same mentality. Second chance.
in the centre back positions. I mean, and also and. Right, sorry about that, guys, but hopefully this should see us through to the end of the stream. But what I was saying in terms of the players which I'd like us to sign, I think Lisandro Martinez will slot in straight and that left centre-back role. He's playing at a really good level for Ajax. His ball-playing skills unbelievable. He's aggressive. And obviously he plays with Romero out for Argentina. So I think that would be an absolutely brilliant signing for us. I really do. And yeah, I think you heard our piece on Christian Eriksen, Gareth Bale, and right wing back probably Tyreek Lamptey or Jed Spence. So that would be for me. But anyway, let's start bringing on some guests and let's see what they had to say about the game yesterday. And let's start off with the Jorical.
Come on, Jory.
Jory,
Hey,
how's
guys.
it going, man?
It's going great. It's going good. Apart from like when I'm sitting here waiting, you guys bring up so many points that, you know, my list of things I need to go through gets so long.
Take him away, Jory. Take him away.
Well, you know, first of all, guys, you should maybe look into getting some internet redundancy, another line into the house. So
Yeah, you're probably right about that. You're probably right.
Yeah, I know. Trust me.
when the line goes down, the other provider can keep you going, right? So
Yeah.
and also I request for all the OCD viewers, which are quite a few. I'm severely OCD myself. Maybe one day you might look into having a table that doesn't, wobble about. The table.
This table ain't wobbling that much anymore. We fixed it.
Oh, okay. Good.
The reason, I think you probably might be alluding to yesterday on the watch along. The reason it was shaking yesterday is because Stel and Iggy took away our contraptions that make it all steady.
Oh, okay. But,
Exactly. It's, like, it's in a very specific position. It can't be moved. Otherwise, it starts getting squeaky again.
Okay, great. I'm very grateful, guys. I really lose my focus when that table starts wobbling. You know. So.
Imagine trying to sit behind it, Jory.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I just want to start off with one thing here because we were talking about the games we got left and so on, and it kind of looks like it's going to come down to the derbies now, right? That's going to be almost like finals for us, the top four, you know. So I want to bring you into a little kind of logical system I've made with the weather here in Iceland, or just in general with weather. Because I have to think a lot about weather being a filmmaker. So we just went through like probably our 18th blizzard here right now while I was waiting, basically, which is a lot, you know. So my logic is basically, without really even looking at the weather, you know, you can tell yourselves that if you have a very heavy kind of blizzard season, for example, in the winter, you can basically deduct from that the summer's going to be pretty good. There won't be a lot of rain and stuff like that, because most years are statistically nominal. So statistically, the summer will even out whatever normally that's going to happen in the winter, right? Or the other way
We're all coming
around.
to you for the summer then, Jory.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, it should be a good one. I'm not giving any refunds though if it doesn't turn out well.
We'll be coming to you, Jory, for our money, that's for sure.
Yeah, but using that logic, guys, I would now put that to the derbies. This has been one of the worst derby seasons for a long time, right? We've been awful in all of the derbies, basically.
Right.
So what we got left, we must be winning. That's basically the logic. Otherwise, it's going to be a completely statistical one-off year, right? So I think we got it. We've got the statistical advantage here, and also we're hitting form, of course, in the right time and all of that. So I'm feeling kind of confident by that. Also, I mean, I would be shocked if our friends in North London, or friends, so to speak, are gonna.
They are not our friends, Jory.
Keep turning up, you know. No, I know they're not our friends, Ben. Something's got to give. It's a young squad. I'm hoping this Liverpool defeat is gonna kick off a little bit of unsettlement. There was characters that didn't quite do the thing yesterday, and hopefully they'll get some bad vibes going in that squad. But all right, now to the next point, guys. I wasn't gonna talk too much about this today, and I wasn't gonna start on it, but you gave me no choice, so let's get into it. Kane, right?
Go on, what is it?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm slowly. I think I'm slowly realizing that you guys must be smoking crack or something. But the way you present the Kane, like we all know that my comments about the Kane stuff. I want to speak for all of the Kane. Nobody. There's no Kane outs really in my world, other than in terms of the contract situation last summer.
There was a lot
But
of them. There was a lot of them at the start of the season, though, Jerry.
well, that's what I'm alluding to the contract situation, that we missed out on the Man City deal, and that Kane would not never turn up again. Conte changed that, and I was one of the guys that was very critical. I thought we missed the boat there, but Conte turned the boat around now, and I actually believe that if we manage to keep Kane, Kane will. Like I said it already on the show. I think Kane under Conte, the next season with Conte, and the next two seasons with Conte, that's going to be the best Kane that's ever going to be, in my view. Kane can never be a better player than he will be with 2 seasons of Conte. He will be a great player on the Guardiola, but he will not be a better player, in my view. He might score more. He's likely to win more, but just the eye test, nobody's gonna get Kane at a higher level than Conte, in my view. I'm shocked already how how well he is performing in a fairly from going completely cold under Nuno to this form that we're seeing now. So I want to, like, whether it be John or me or whoever has been critical of the Kane situation, it's never about whether we're better off or not with Kane, or if Kane is the best, one of the best, or if not the best striker in the world. He is. I think there's basically no Spurs fans that think the club would be better off with them without him. Not at all. I mean, in the summer, people thought it was maybe the right time to sell him, to get the biggest paycheck, to start the rebuild, because at some point we need to face that. I say to the biggest Kane fans, on the contrary, I'm looking forward to how you're going to talk about Kane if he gets sold and leaves the club at the first opportunity this summer. I'm kind of expecting those fans to become quite reactionary and become probably his harshest critic as well. So I want to settle that. I think everybody is understands, everybody who at least is worth listening to in terms of football understands that Kane. You asked the question: Lewandowski, Kane, or Benzema. I think for me, Benzema is the better striker. Um, Lewandowski has the better numbers, but Kane is by far the most valuable player, by far, in my view. So it's never been about that for me. What I suspect now, and what I like yesterday, Kane wasn't that good. He was bad in the first half, and he became okay in the second half. That's my view. Like, that miss was awful. Like you said, guys, if Sonny done that, it would be the main theme of the show today. Um, uh, but he at least came alive and responded. But I kind of feel like the Kuti comment from Antonio is a little bit towards Kane, Sonny, who go, all of these players that are the senior players or are the supposed leaders in the squad, that they need to basically they need to drive, they need to take responsibility for the game. And like in the United game, it was clear Kane didn't do that. Sonny, at least put a huge effort in, but he was very bad on his feet that day. And that's like a little bit the mystery now why Sonny is playing the way he's playing. But Kane certainly didn't do it. I feel like Kane started the game yesterday and he was not showing up again. And it's not that he was completely missing like he was in the Man United game, but he was definitely not a Kane. He was not up to his own level. That's the level we need to compare him to. It's trivial to compare him to your average striker in the league. Kane is way above that and should never be hold it to that kind of to that level. And we keep also giving Kane this out that he's tired of carrying the team and so on, which I give him the same out, and I really understand his frustration with this club. But that's what you sign up for. We don't like we wouldn't listen to it if Liverpool fans were saying like we can't expect Salah to be scoring every game or whatever. Of course, that's why Salah is Salah, and that's why Liverpool are succeeding, because these players are coming through for them. So yes, of course we can expect Kane to do that if he's engaged. But also to kind of maybe take Kane's side here, it's like the club has treated his ambition and his effort really badly through the years. So I don't at all blame him for having enough of it, not being able to muster the energy or the enthusiasm to fight for this club. That's definitely something that Kane has gone above and beyond in my view.
But the different when you say like Liverpool don't say that about Salah and they just expect him to score. Salah has bad games, but he has other players who can back him up. But Kane doesn't have that.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not, and that's where maybe everybody agrees. But I think like we should never give Kane the treatment that he is allowed to be kind of compared to your average player. I agree there, Sim, completely. Salah has bad games, not many, but they happen, and other people step in and cover it. That's what we're seeing a little bit happening now in the squad. I don't feel like I have a hard time understanding these last games from Kane. Even though he was quite a lot better yesterday than, of course, the Man United game. But like this form that he had put up, there's something weird going on. So I don't know. I mean, the kind of fearful thinking in me is like Kane knows the Conte is going anyway or something like that. If he feels like there's another, it feels different from before these two games. I feel before Man United, basically. But hopefully, it's just like he's tired or he's just having bad games. Hopefully, that's it.
Interesting. I didn't think it was bad yesterday. I thought he played quite well.
He started badly, I thought, but he got into it for sure. And I wouldn't say like I don't think he's even close to man of the match. For me, man of the match was fairly easy. It was Bentancur by far, but I think like the squad in general was quite good. But we should have utilized. We should have scored a lot more as well yesterday, and that's an important point, because we're quite likely to be level on points once it comes down to the end of the season. So we want to get those goals in when we can. So. But I don't want to turn a victory day into a bummer, but I just want to say like I think the narrative about people actually, thinking that Kane is a detriment to the squad. I mean, I've never met such a person in my life. I think the whole discussion that went on this summer was more about when is the right time to do this.
You
If
never
now
met
Kane
John
goes,
Cooper, Jory.
That wasn't just a discussion though. There was people that wanted to drop him for Bergwijn. People wanted to sell him. People were saying that
Some people
he's
thought-
holding Tottenham back.
Some people said he was finished.
Yeah, finished.
Yeah,
Finished.
yeah,
He was
like,
too injury prone. This,
including
that, and
me.
the other. So
Including me, because he was stuck in the club, finished in our club was my thoughts. I didn't think he was finished as a player, but I thought he was definitely on a down trajectory and completely finished in our club, and that was because of the bots deal with Man City. So the fact that our club reacts and shows ambition and Kane, that's what the whole Man City deal was about for Kane all the time. Is about ambition, about winning. So now that he's sees a light at the end of the tunnel with winning with Tottenham, of course Kane is gonna react. He's reacted far above and beyond what I expected. But it was a complete reset getting Conte in terms of motivating our squad, not only Kane, all of them. And I said it at the time. At least we have to give Levy at least credit for doing that, because being Levy, that's one of the most dangerous. It's probably the most dangerous appointment you could ever do, was appoint Conte, and he did it. So now his ass is on the line, and hopefully the project will continue. Hopefully we'll get this top four spot. I think the spot is definitely in there. It's going to be really, really interesting to see the next game, how our boys react. I think we have the structure now. We have it all kind of technically drilled into our squad. It's down to mentality, down to showing up, and fortitude. Fortitude. I think maybe that's a little bit what the senior players are struggling with. It's like they lack the fortitude because they've been let down so many times. And once we get over that hurdle, if we can, for example, clutch that fourth spot with this fierce fight, fighting every game till the end of the season, that's what Conte alluded. That's gonna give them that fortitude. That's gonna give them a little bit of winning, in their blood, and that's gonna take them into mentality-wise into the next season completely different, So yeah.
do you think we can get rid of the inconsistency, Jory, and put a nice little run together to maybe make a good stab at that top four? Or do you think that this inconsistency is just going to happen to the end of the season and it can only be fixed in the transfer market?
But yeah, I think that's what that's why. That's kind of how what I'm trying to read into Conte's words now, is that maybe the only thing we really need to become more consistent right now is for these senior players to have more fortitude, to get the emotional aspect out of their game, and I think we're very close, to be honest. I think we're very, very close. I think we're very close to a threshold point where we'll simply become a Conte machine, and of course we'll go into the summer and hopefully the project will get its best circumstances. We get our fourth spot and so on. Even if we don't, if we settle into this Conte machine as this squad that we're now, whatever additions we're gonna put into that is gonna help us. And the only really questions is then, is Kane staying, is Conte staying? If we don't get the fourth spot. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Conte talks a little bit like he would stay even though there wasn't be a fourth spot. But I don't know. Yeah, so I think at least definitely, I don't know. I ask you guys, like for me, like even in the Man United game, you saw the structure, you saw the discipline, you saw like you see everything that Conte is drawing up and making them do, really, you know. So it wasn't like we were so used to breakdown of shape and breakdown of communication and complete panic, basically, which we've seen so many times through the years, you know. You still see a very kind of a consistent structure on the pits. It's simply, you know, when we get down to like when squads sit deep on us, and actually United were allowed to sit deep on us, and not as deep as other teams, but deep enough, then we kind of run into trouble. And especially like with the wing backs now, I actually wanted to make the point about Doherty, you know, and it's really interesting listening to you, David, because you've of course known him.
I have to suffer
throughout
from Ireland, Jerry.
Yeah. You've had to watch him with the Irish national team as well, you know, so you know him better than most of us. So, but the way I feel with Doherty now is like Doherty is not technical enough to hold the ball or keep the ball except in full stride. You know, as a winger, he's quite good to run the ball. So when the game is flowing like that, really good strides back and forth on the pitch, he looks all right. He looks quite good actually, and he makes good. You know, he makes good runs into the box. He crosses sometimes all right, and so on. As soon as the game slows down and it becomes this, you know, the defense is sitting on us, and we have the ball on the edge of the box and all of that, then Doherty becomes one of their number one pressing targets, you know, and all the mistakes and all the lack of technical ability comes into the game, you know. So, and yeah, this has become a formula now, even for big teams, as we see. It's simply to sit on Tottenham, like we do with Man City and stuff like that. But for us, it's like Man City has options. Man City has tools. We're not quite there in terms of that, in terms of breaking down. We did see yesterday one option, which is to shoot from outside the box, and it might hit a defender and get you a corner, and then you might be able to do something with a corner, and sometimes go into the net actually, you know. So
we have good distance shooters. Kane's good at shooting outside the box. Son's good at shooting outside the box. Kulusevski's shown at previous clubs he can do that as well. So it's definitely something we have to do more. But we're very time conscious here, so we have to move. We should move on. But Jory, Jory, good to speak to you, mate.
Of course, it's good getting those 3 points in, and it's great seeing the neighbors get a beating by Liverpool. And to be honest, statistically, that's not a problem. You know, I think it's down to the fortitude of the senior players, and if they get it, then we're gonna get the 4 points or the 4th spot. Sorry, guys.
Come on, I love the optimism, Jerry.
Big up, Jory. Always a good day when Arsenal lose and Spurs win. And we'll speak to you soon, Jory.
Bye.
See you, Jerry.
See ya.
The Joricle.
Exactly, the Joricle. Let's keep moving. We've got some other guests to get through. And who do we have? Oh, look who it is. It's Grandpa Brian.
Come on, Brian.
Come on, Grandpa.
Grandpa, how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. If it wasn't for Ukraine, I'd be feeling brilliant. But I feel great. And I enjoyed the match yesterday. Some of the things that Jory said I don't agree with, and I think I would like to make those points first.
Yes, go for it.
I think the whole question about inconsistency is a good question, but you must note that what Conte's doing, I think he's played the same team virtually exactly for the last 3 or 4 matches. And he's doing that primarily to take away the inconsistency. So they're all playing together. They know how to play together. They know what they're doing. And you notice also he doesn't make any changes till quite late. I mean, we always used to see changes around 60 minutes, but we're not seeing them now. And I think that's all about dealing with the inconsistency that he sees. And I think you have to give him the credit for that.
Do you think he doesn't trust the rest of them players, Brian, that he has his starting 11, and outside of that, like you alluded to, that he makes late substitutions, he doesn't like making changes to the starting lineup? Do you think that's because he doesn't trust the other players to come in?
No, I think it's because he really wants consistency. He wants them to get to know each other. And that's why he's doing that. So he wants to keep the team together as much as he possibly can. I know that's difficult in terms of the speed of the matches, but that won't happen following this week. I think that we'll be playing only once a week. I think that's been one of the problems, and that was the problem certainly against Middlesbrough. But nevertheless, I just wanted to recognise, for everybody to recognise that everybody's talking about the inconsistency and thinking he's not doing anything about it. And I think that's why he's playing the same team and not making changes till late, because he wants to get the consistency working and people to know each other. And that's why he's been playing the newer players also quite well. The other thing I disagree with Jonte is about Kane. I thought that Kane was brilliant. I thought he really played well.
I agree.
Okay, he missed that first goal, but nevertheless, he was way the man of the match in my view. And I thought he's back with us. He's back with us, and let's hope that means he'll stay with us. So we must keep supporting him and making sure that Conte does, and he does, because he plays every match.
Of course.
But I agree also that close to that, again, it was a clean sheet. I think is that the third clean sheet in a row?
It's 3 and
against
4.
Manchester United, didn't we?
It's 3 clean sheets in 4.
Yeah,
though.
3 out of 4.
That's right, and I think that was down to Bettino.
Bentancur.
No. Yeah, I thought he was brilliant. He was holding the defence so well, and then also running forward. I thought he played. He was really good. And then I thought Doherty is coming on all the time, and he was. I mean, some of the cross kicks that he was holding was really good. So I think technically he wasn't that bad, but he's not an out and out defender. He's a wing back, and that's where his best is, with a back behind him, and particularly with Romero behind him. Romero. My only worry about Romero is he's so hot-headed, but he's a good player, and he does works well with Dyer and Doherty.
Do you think with Romero, Grandpa, you say he's very hot-headed, but do you think that's something maybe it's just the way he plays and you got to take the good with the bad, or do you think he should try and calm down? But if he does try and calm down, maybe he loses a bit of his edge.
I think he's hot-headed, not so much in his fouling, but once he's fouled or somebody else has fouled on him, he goes in, with a punch as fast as he can. And that's more his hot-headedness. And I think we need a strong back. I agree with you. We need him to be able to fight and sometimes foul. I don't think it's the fouling that worries me as much as his attitude after he fouled or after one of the others have fouled him.
Fair enough. But it was a good win for us yesterday. And do you think now, with Arsenal losing, it opens the door a bit again in terms of what we're challenging for this season? Because after the weekend, it looked like with 6 points behind and Arsenal having a game in hand, it didn't look like a good path to the top 4. But maybe that pathway looks a little more clearer now.
I think it does. I think it's is clearer. But not only is it clearer, I think that the inconsistency that I've been talking about is there. That they're going to be consistent now, and he's finding his best team, and he'll be able to play his best team every match now till the end of the season, I hope, providing there's no injuries. So I feel quite positive that there's a very, very good chance of getting to the top 4. So yeah, I'm very hopeful, more hopeful than I have been all the time, and I think Conte is just fantastic, and I think if he goes, that'll be really disappointing, and I think if he goes, Kane goes too.
Do you think he's always suggesting in the media, Conte, I need the board to match my ambitions, or we'll have to discuss things at the end of the season. And obviously it creates uncertainty, but do you think it's a good thing that he makes it very clear what he wants, maybe in the summer or even now, in terms of he wants his ambition met? And even though it might create uncertainty, at least everyone knows where they stand, and it's good that if he does walk away, maybe it shines a light of where the board are at in terms of their ambitions.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a question of what we can. It's really. I think if he, actually, let's just cut to the short. I think you're right. I think the more open he is about what he wants, and that they see the full picture and not just see a little bit of the picture, because it's not about buying another multi-million pound player. It's about building a team, and that's what he's doing. And it's where he wants, how he sees that team, that the board needs to understand and to support him and to trust him. And I think that's one of the most important things, is trusting him and trusting his judgment. And I think we can all see that his judgment is sometimes not what we expect, but it's pretty good.
All right,
Grandpa.
Lovely stuff.
Always great to chat to you, and I'm guessing we'll see you on Sunday for the game.
Yours.
If not on Friday, yeah.
See you on Sunday. Yep. See you on Sunday.
All right,
Okay,
See you Sunday, Brian.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Nice to see you,
Bye.
Grandpa.
See you.
Bye.
Always great getting Grandpa's views on. Next up is Barry. Yes, Barry, how's it going, mate?
Well, there was something inside so strong last night, wasn't there?
Something inside so strong.
Oh, strong. Oh no! Yes, boys, yeah. That's what did it. That was the difference. That was the difference. So look, I've just taken. Obviously, I came on last night after the game. Was listening to. Obviously, went on quite late. I don't know why. Stel and Iggy were just waxing lyrical last night, which was good. But look, one game at a time. I've gone a bit more positive than a few weeks ago. But I'm just saying one game at a time. And Sunday is massive, right? Sunday is massive. So that's just what we need to focus on. Let's not worry about North London derbies, which, to be honest, we're going to batter them anyway. Let's not worry about who's playing who. All these teams that are coming on and the games and everything else. Let's just get through Sunday, sing that song after the game of West Ham getting battered everywhere they go, and then we can just have a rest and we can hold back and we can relax and then have the international break, cross everything that make people don't get injured, people don't go missing, people don't get COVID, people don't go and do crazy things, and then we go again. For the game after,
Absolutely,
and that's what I just wanted to come and just be a bit more positive for a change, and just like top four's not happening, this is rubbish, blah blah blah. That we kind of get.
Yeah, do you think?
Give us another belt of something so strong, though, Barry. I love it.
No, you love it.
How many guests is there left, Sam?
Oh, we're live.
All right, we're back. Go on, Barry. David was just asking you a question there.
I was just asking to sing that song again while we were down. That was.
No, but
I'll give you rendition on Sunday, mate. I'll give you rendition on Sunday.
Do you see Arsenal still faltering though, Barry? They're on good form. They got a loss yesterday, but do you see them faltering?
As David likes to say, 100%, 100%. Yeah, they haven't had their run where they go into a run of 3 or 4 games, which might be that 3 games that they've got within a week, that they're expected to win, and they just throw it away. So that's coming. I genuinely think they haven't had any pressure on them. They're all young players. They've had their rest. They, like you were saying earlier, Ben, Arteta can cry all he likes about. Oh, I've had 2 games in a week, and this is tough, and everyone's picking on us. So, their time is kind of coming, and I think, yeah, absolutely. Look, there's still 30 points to play for, and bar the Liverpool game, all the other games are winnable. Even the Liverpool game is winnable because again they've got to come out and they've got to win because they're going for the league. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we go and nick a point or something. It's
Barry, what do you think of Arteta's whinging about the schedule?
Well, he can take that with the rest of their stupid fans and stand outside Stamford Bridge with their cup going, "Save the bridge, save the bridge." They can all get there together. And I mean, like Ben said, what is it? 8 games in the last 11 weeks or something stupid. So, what have they got to moan about? They're not in Europe. They haven't had games every week. They've brought most of it on themselves because they've sent people out on loan. They forgot that the African Cup of Nations was on. I think he's trying to deflect it away, I guess, from the players, but he's not doing it in the right way because that every other fan base is going to just jump on them and just start saying like, "What the hell, you guys? You got no, you got no grounds to be moaning about being, fixture congestion, So it is what it is.
Ask the Premier League, Barry. Ask the Premier League. Ask the Premier League.
Oh, yeah, ask the Premier League. Ask them, yeah. Go and ask them. I'll tell you what, Arteta, go down there and ask them and see what they say, and they'll tell you to do one, hopefully.
You know what? They probably won't, seeing as they bowed to them in that whole COVID situation as well.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
If that was us, they'd be like, "Oh, who's at the door? Tottenham? No, we're not gonna entertain anything." Oh, Arsenal, yeah, come on in, Mikel. Come and have a seat. We've got lunch ready for you. We'll do all these types of things. What would you like us to do for you? We'll extend the season. We'll give you an extra break. Yeah, I mean it is what it is, and we'll just have to wait and see. But I think now,
and if not, Barry, they'll end up just voting them into the top 4 by the end of the season. If they don't make it, you know what I mean?
Oh, but wouldn't it be? I tell you, there's 2 things that I'd love to see, and that's Arsenal not making top 4 and Stell on your show in an Arsenal shirt because
I would hate to see that. I just would not like to see any Spurs fan go down that route. I just wouldn't.
Well, unfortunately, Stell decided to be Stell, and he's gonna. I would. In true Kevin Keegan style, I would love it if we saw Stell just, "No, we're not getting top 4. This isn't happening. That's not happening." And then, I said last night to him, "Look, you've seen Leicester win the Premier League. You've seen Greece win the Euros. Sport is a game where crazy things can happen, right? And it's not done until the final ball is kicked. And until that time, I think we've all just got to believe that can happen. We can get top 4. Arsenal could choke. It would be incredible." And then Conte goes to Levy, "Look what I've done with this group of players. You give me some coin to go and or NFTs or whatever he wants to give him to go and buy players." So it's let's just get through Sunday. Let's just batter those scummy West Ham, pikeys from down the road. Let's just get rid of them and. Let's just have a break, international break. I get what people, Dyer. I mean, the England squad's coming up any minute.
Just come out, yeah. It's just come out. There is no Eric Dyer.
Is there not?
There's Mark Guehi and Ben White, but no Eric Dyer.
That's shocking. That is shocking.
Absolutely shocking.
Anyway, I'm happy with that. Anyway, nice 2 weeks rest for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Did Harry Winks get in?
No, not even close.
He's on standby.
He's on standby. What, to carry the water bottles? Jesus. But no. Look, let's just get through Sunday. My only concern is Romero and his yellow cards. Really, he's on 8, so 2 more, and he's got a suspension. So he needs to get him cleared early because. As clear as everyone, as clear as the weather is, and it's going to rain in England. Romero's getting a yellow card every game without a shadow of a doubt, and we don't want him to be missing for that Liverpool game.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But good to see you, Dave, and
good to see you.
See you Sunday. I'll give you a rendition, and as long as we can have something inside so strong on Sunday, we'll beat West Ham.
Oh
Exactly.
no! Big up, Barry.
no.
Big up. We'll speak to you soon. See you Sunday.
I'll see you Sunday, my
See you
man.
Sunday.
See you, Barry.
Keep practicing the singing. We'll get him karaoke sometime. Love it.
All right, so I think that is where we're going to leave it for today. We'll be back for player ratings, 5 takeaways, and the Tottenham Hour podcast coming your way today as well. And we've got this guy, no more virtual podcast. We're doing it in person. Dave's here in the studio. So, yeah, big up for everyone today. We'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on,
Come on,
Spurs.
Spurs.